What's up, guys? What's going on, man? I'm Paul. This is Paul Theology's daily devotional, man. And we're going through the book of John. We're in John chapter 18, 25 through 27. Hope you had a good weekend. Glad you're here. It's a Monday. Let's get down. Let's read. Let's study. Let's grow. So this is Trust in Jesus Ministries. Here we want to help you trust in Jesus more every day. Either if it's for the first time where you place your entire life into his hands, or you're doing it every day trying to place your entire life in his hands, man. Anyway, we're in John, and I'm glad you're here. What we have been going through is just studying who Jesus is, his unique personality, his way in which he has come to this world, the witness that he has demonstrated, and the actions that he is doing. And we are at close to part of the climax, or getting ready to be there as we're walking through the Passion, man, and leading up to those points. But a little story that John has done in between this time is that he has bounced back and forth between Peter and the trial of Jesus. And so it's been a unique display. Last episode we talked about how Jesus displays this wonderful and beautiful grace and truth, and that before that he is also the true high priest in a situation where this is completely and utterly just devastating to see, because the people who are trying Jesus, one of the guards slapped Jesus and he says, "How can you speak to him like this?" The high priest. In reality, he should be thinking the opposite, is how could they be treating Jesus this way? Being the ultimate witness, man. And so we see a juxtaposition now as we go back to Peter. So stop the tape if you haven't read it. We're in 18:25 through 27. See what it has to say, come back, and then we're going to answer these questions. I'm diving way too far deep in before I get you guys doing that. But if you have read it, then let's continue on, man, and talk about this. Is that Simon Peter and Jesus are in a juxtaposition. Jesus being the ultimate witness as he stands firm in keeping his disciples, in making sure that they are safe. While Peter, on the other hand, is what I've read called the anti-witness. He is doing exactly the opposite of what he's called to do. While Jesus is being mocked, he remains the true high priest. He remains the Son of God. But while Peter is being tested, he denies Christ. It says that he was warming himself by the fire. Remember, we were talking about how that shows or demonstrates in this that he is positioning himself with the wrong crowd. And Peter is positioning himself, and John is reminding us of that as he continues to tell the story of the denial of Peter, or of Jesus by Peter. And it says someone asked him, and he denied. And then it says that another one even asked him. It said that somebody who saw him in the garden chop off Jesus' ear, so valiantly ready to be able to defend the honor and the freedom of Jesus, now is scared, denies. I think that it's a tough thing, man, here, because this demonstrates the heart of humanity in general. But before we talk about that, let's go ahead and talk about what this says about God. I think what it says about it is that even though we deny him, he will not deny us. That's a scripture Paul writes in Philippians, I believe. He says, is it Philippians? But he says that if we become faithless, he remains faithful because he cannot deny himself. He does what he says he's going to do. And Peter here denies Christ, yet Jesus earlier says, "I will not allow anyone to perish whom you have given me." And so Peter, being one in whom the Father gives Jesus, even in this moment, Jesus keeps him and he restores him. We'll see that at the end of the book. He restores him. But isn't that amazing that Jesus, because he knows, man, he knows everything. We already know. That he knows the depth of the sinfulness, the denial, the betrayal, the evil that Peter will perpetrate, yet he still chooses him to be a part of his family. That is the love of God. That is the grace of God. That's what this show's about, God. What does this show about mankind? It shows our weakness in our witness to Christ. We never know what we'll do when given into a situation. Peter, who earlier in the scene chops off a guy's ear, now denies 3 times, doing the thing that Jesus had said earlier would happen. Peter does this. He denies. He thought he didn't think he was going to. No, he said, I'd die for you, Jesus. But now when faced with that actual situation, what happened? He denies his very knowledge or being present whenever Jesus was arrested, and he denies being a part of the fellowship in which Jesus offered and shared with him. That's us, man. That's us. What does our witness look like? So how do we apply these truths to our lives, man? I think that's the first question: is what do our lives look like, man? Are we being a witness that we're called to be? Are we being like Jesus in the sense that when called upon, he stood up? Or we've been more like Peter, is that, man, we fall and slip and hide and shriek away when our time to stand has come upon us? What are we doing? How are we handling that situation? I'll tell you right now, the only way that we can handle it is to be rooted, grounded, founded, and maintaining, like Jesus said, in him, the vine. That is the way that we can overcome. So that's the question I have for you today, guys. I appreciate you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.